My name is Richard Francisco Pelez Jr. I'm making this video because I have a daughter who's college educated but hasn't truly worked a full-time job in years. Why work where she can steal from her father who gave her everything? My daughter has no conscience. She truly can't claim a religion because if you're going against God's will, how can you honor thy father, thy mother, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet. You're coveting what I earned, not what you earned. You have had banks illegally transfer money with the help of Social Security into your bank account for years. I told you I had enough. And you didn't believe me. Well, I stopped calling you because you're brainwashed by your grandmother, who's a criminal. The whole family are criminals. From their people in the police force and in elected officials in New York. And no one wants to do anything about it. Our government is afraid of organized crime in the United States. Well, I've been punished. My daughter constantly robs me with the help of others in Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, even in New York State Workers' Comp. The judge threw the case because I gave evidence that should have put Brenda and the lady who worked before her in jail. But the judge chose to ignore the evidence, and it was good evidence. And they are making sure that their criminal, their organized crime person at Liberty Mutual doesn't go to jail, even though she falsified records. And the judge knows it because she had my evidence and didn't bother going through the evidence. Because if she did, she would have to notify other law enforcement agencies about what's going on. And she didn't. That's a crime that judge has committed. That judge should be disbarred. Real estate companies like Greystone shouldn't get government subsidies because they allow their managers and the manager's family to rob people in their buildings. And since the cop who comes to check the evidence is a cop in organized crime, because my daughter worked at a police force in Florida, I'm quite sure she was directing people in organized crime to certain real estate companies so the crimes can be covered up. Banks, laundry money, and that's from A to Z. From Bank America, Chase Manhattan, to a bank that's named after an Oregon river. These banks have been outrageous, robbing me and robbing the American people. I hope the American people demand from their elected officials a strong whistleblowing law that we can vote in primaries independents should vote in either the Democratic or Republican primaries. I mean, you have an amount of people who aren't voting for primaries, and that's wrong. That's unconstitutional. Also, when you sent information and proof from the police officer on the beat to the White House, I've sent proof. And unfortunately, the president I elected, his people hid the letter and the proof of money laundering. I even sent the FBI proof in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque, New Mexico has a big problem, like all the other cities. But the cops are so corrupt in Albuquerque, you're going to have to fire each and every one of them and hire a complete new staff and make sure that they're not related to anybody in organized crime. And why do I want a strong whistleblowing law? That's because we have in government today, in high places, thanks to organized crime, using union monies to get elected their people. Yes, you have organized crime in government. And that's why the good government workers won't say anything. Because organized crime really has this country. And it is should be all in jail. Shouldn't they? Organized crime. I mean, the Russians are just doing what organized crime has been doing for the last 20 years. So if we're upset about Russia, we should be upset with people in organized crime running the United States government, where a citizen like me can't get justice. My daughter has been so cruel to me that if she received just a tenth of what she has done to me, she wouldn't be able to take it. I mean, it shows how weak. I should have been working on her morals. And maybe I would have had a good daughter who had confidence in herself, who can work, and doesn't have to steal from her father. But that's what she chooses. And she chooses a man who doesn't want to work. And that's shameful. Anyway, we need to take back this country. Raystar, Riverstone, Chinatown Association in Seattle. These people all have buildings, and tenants get robbed. The police cover up the robberies because they send those cops who are in organized crime to my apartment and to other people. And these cops know who's committing the crime, know what family in organized crime is committing the crimes in Albuquerque, in New York, who are stealing from the government. I have been trying for years to put a stop to all this. I am disgusted how this country has been taken over by organized crime. And if you don't watch out, and if you don't demand a whistleblowing law with teeth to protect good government workers, who would, if the law protected them, tell a lot of corruption at the highest level in government. I'm not telling you a fairy tale. I'm telling you the truth. I know at least one senator who's part of organized crime. And I was told when I lived in Seattle that the congressman couldn't help me because people who work for him part of organized crime. So is the congressman in Seattle in organized crime too? Take a guess.